So then, if you awaken from this illusion and you understand that black implies white, self implies other, life implies death, or shall I say, death implies life, you can feel yourself not as a stranger in the world, not as something here on probation, not as something that has arrived here by fluke, but you can begin to feel your own existence as absolutely fundamental. What you are basically, deep, deep down, far, far in, is simply the fabric and structure of existence itself. Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would, naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? Then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now. You would dream the dream of living the life that you are actually living today. That would be within the infinite multiplicity of choices you would have, of playing that you weren't God. Because the whole nature of the Godhead, according to this idea, is to play that he's not. So in this idea then, everybody is fundamentally the ultimate reality, not God in a politically kingly sense, but God in the sense of being the self, the deep down basic whatever there is. And you're all that, only you're pretending you're not.
I am me, you are you, and we are all interconnected. Hello to you all. You're watching RHTVLive from Maastricht. And of course, we're going to show it on the map. Ja mensen, we zijn weer live vanuit het mooie Maastricht. Ja. En natuurlijk gaan we kijken naar politiek en geopolitiek. Voor de mensen die opletten, die weten wel zo'n beetje wat de rode draad is. Wij kiezen geen partij. Ja, dus goed, dat van tevoren gezegd hebbende, let's go. First of all, we're going to look at The Hague, right? And see what's happening over there. Grote explosie in Den Haag. Premier Schoof is daar geweest. We gaan naar wat beelden kijken. So this is the Prime Minister. This guy here, so. This is the Prime Minister. And yeah, let's take a look at some images.
We zien wat voor toch vreselijke ramp zich hier in Den Haag heeft afgespeeld. Ik kan me goed voorstellen dat dit een enorme impact heeft op de mensen in deze wijk. Ik denk dat ook nog steeds mensen zijn die zich zorgen maken over hun naasten of geliefden, waarvan ze niet weten wat daarmee gebeurd is. En ze zijn nog steeds bezig om te zoeken. Dus ik hoop dat proces kan worden afgerond en dat er dan ook rust en zekerheid ontstaat. Al dan niet in ellende of in blijdschap. Mensen zijn natuurlijk ook vele spullen kwijtgeraakt, maar dat is voor allemaal daarna. En ik heb hier vandaag gemerkt, ook hier in het wijkcentrum, hoe enorm betrokken de mensen zijn bij eigenlijk iedereen. En ze elkaar ook echt als een gemeenschap proberen te helpen. En dat vind ik dan wel weer mooi om te zien, om in die ellende te zien, dat hier in deze wijk men elkaar dan toch weer helpt. Ja, je treft een groot gat aan, waar duidelijk huizen hebben gestaan. Ja, dan sta je toch met enige verbazing te kijken. Dat je denkt van, wat voor een...
So, big explosion in The Hague. And of course, we're going to show it on the map.
Explosie is dit geweest, dat gewoon een huizenblok, echt een gat is ontstaan. Waarin 4, 5 huizen en plus de huizen daarnaast. En het andere wat mij trof is dat men nog steeds heel druk bezig is. Mensen van de brandweer, van de ambulance, van de USAR. Dat ze heel druk bezig zijn om beetje bij beetje nu zeg maar de laatste puzzelstukjes zeg maar uit elkaar te halen. Het debris, zoals geloof ik de burgemeester dat noemde. Om te zorgen dat ze echt zeker weten dat ze een mogelijk slachtoffer nog weten te vinden onder het puin. Mijn belangrijkste boodschap is natuurlijk dat gemeente en de anderen echt nu al hun werk zetten op het vinden van mogelijk een laatste slachtoffer. En daarna krijg je de hele nasleep. En daar is belangrijk dat duidelijk wordt uit forensisch onderzoek wat er nou eigenlijk gebeurd is. Dat heb ik ook hier bij de mensen gehoord, dat ze het ontzettend belangrijk vinden om dat te horen. Wat is er nou eigenlijk gebeurd? En natuurlijk, er moet echt heel veel gebeuren. Want dat hele complex, ja, dat is weg. Dat kan denk ik niet meer gebruikt worden, maar goed, daar ga ik niet over. En dus zullen heel veel mensen moeten worden...
So the prime minister is like, we found a big hole and, people cannot live there anymore. And we're still recovering from the big explosion. So...
worden geholpen, tijdelijk te worden gehuisvest en waarschijnlijk uiteindelijk weer nieuwe huisvesting moeten krijgen.
Is dat duidelijk voor u wat erachter zit?
Nee, absoluut niet. En daar ga ik ook niet over speculeren. Dat is...
So the old geezer you just saw, this guy here, is Jan van Zanen, which is the mayor of The Hague.
Dat is nu aan de driehoek. En dan natuurlijk de officier van justitie en politie, de burgemeester. En als er duidelijkheid is, zullen die daar ook mededeling over doen. Ik kan ze in die zin niet geruststellen dat ik niet kan zeggen wat er gebeurd is. En ik denk dat het belangrijk is om die angsten weg te halen, dat mensen zekerheid hebben over wat er gebeurd is. Want ook dat hoor ik inderdaad van de mensen hier.
So we still don't know what really happened. A big explosion, but we still don't know.
Hier dat ze toch bang zijn van, ja, wat gebeurt er de volgende keer? Is het dan mijn huis? En ik hoop dat men vertrouwen heeft in dat de politie, justitie, maar ook de gemeente echt alles doen om helderheid te krijgen over wat er nou gebeurd is. Zodat mensen ook hier weer gewoon in Mariehoeven veilig in hun huis kunnen wonen.
So let's take a look at where it happened. Here we go. The Tarwekamp. There we have the building where part of the building is gone by the explosion. It's at this corner here. This piece here is gone, and it's basically an L-shape, flat, right? It has like a backside. So all these apartments are not safe to live in. Ja, al die appartementen zijn dus niet veilig om in te wonen. Je zou er maar wonen, mensen. Het is echt heel erg wat hier zo gebeurt. Maar wat nog erger is, ja, kan nog een graadje erger, is wat er in Georgië gebeurt. Ja, even overschakelen naar een ander land. So let's look at Georgia, what's happening there, right? We have the protests going on in Georgia. These are pro-EU people. They want to join the EU. You have 3 parties within Georgia. You have people who want to join the EU. You have people who want to stay neutral. And you have people who want to join the Russian Federation. So the people who want to stay neutral, they won the elections. And the prime minister, who is pro-EU, does not want to certify the elections and stuff like that, so lots happening in Georgia. And of course, we're going to show it on the map. But first, these images here.
My name is Luca, I'm 26 years old, and I'm here because I cannot stay home and watch how they are destroying my country, how they are taking away our freedom and our fundamental rights, how they are arresting people my age and younger, how they beat them up and give them ridiculous punishments.
I am Salome Bakhtadı. I am a student, 18 years old. I am protesting against these unjust decisions of my government. I just want us to move towards Europe and not back to the hole where we just got out from.
You heard that? I want to move to Europe as a country, right? So these are all pro-European people who have no idea what's really happening, right? It's the breakup of Georgia. It's the next country to be destabilized. After the Ukraine crisis has ended, Georgia will be next. And of course, we're going to show it on the map where Georgia is. Ja, als de Oekraïne-crisis af is gelopen, dan is de volgende land wellicht Georgië. Ja. Want dat zit aan de voet van Rusland. En we verlaten Den Haag en we vliegen helemaal over naar Georgië. Dan gaan we over Duitsland en Tsjechië, Slowakije, die twee landen. Hier Tsjechië, Slowakije, Hongarije, Roemenië. Daar komen we ook straks, daar gaan we straks landen. En ja, hier hebben we dus Georgië. So here we have Georgia, and we're going to also take a look at Romania, because there were elections there, and that was not certified by the EU and such. So they need to vote again. But first, we're going to take a look at Georgia. Ja, Georgië staat op de kaart. En daar gaan we even met een vergrootglas naar kijken. En ja, we gaan even kijken naar de protesten. Zoals we zo net lieten zien. Dus het zijn pro-EU mensen. Pro-EU people. And, Georgia will be the next country to be destabilized. Ja. Georgië is het volgende land dat gedestabiliseerd wordt dankzij deze protesten die al een tijdje gaande zijn.
Hi, this is Luke Almaniashvili. I'm 22 years old and I'm standing here because I believe I unrationally love this country and I'm against everything that is happening here right now. We're not tired and I think we're gonna keep coming here every single day. It's 9th day now, there could be 99th day and we will be still standing here and we will do everything within our power to get rid of this illegitimate government.
All right, another political unrest. This one is coming in from Georgia. The country continues to be in the state of an unrest. The opposition parties and their supporters returned for another night.
Yes, we know. We just explained. So, that's that, right? That's Georgia. And that will be the next country to be destabilized. Dat wordt de volgende land dat gedestabiliseerd wordt, Georgië. En als we kijken naar Roemenië, Romania elections. So they're basically saying this right-wing candidate has Russian ties, which they use everywhere, right? There's even a political party in the Netherlands called the Forum for Democratie, which they also accuse them of having Russian ties. And this is why people need to vote again. They need a rerun. Romania court orders rerun of presidential election first round. So let's take a look at this here. Wait, this is also something enough to look at, right? Let's take a look at this one here.
The news now from Romania, and the top court there has annulled the first round of the presidential election, saying that the election must be entirely rerun after security documents were declassified. Let's bring in our Europe correspondent, Adam Parsons, who is in Bucharest. Adam, great to have you with us, and what a time for this to come. You have just been speaking, not long ago, to the man who won the first round, Carlin Georgescu.
Yeah, this has come really as a huge surprise to this nation. We knew that there was an appeal against this election, but I think most people thought that this was the opposition going through the paces, that nobody really thought that the presidential election would be annulled. And then out of the blue came the statement from the Constitutional Court, which is a long document, but I will summarise it. It says, pursuant to Article 146, the court annuls the entire electoral process regarding the election of the president of Romania, and then it says for the election of the president, the process will be resumed in its entirety.
So you get to vote, but you need to vote again because you voted for the wrong candidate. That's called democracy in Europe. So that's happening in Romania, and very, very sad thing to see. This is how democracy falls, right? Ja, zo valt de democratie, mensen. Heel erg triest wat hier gebeurt. Maar als we nou gaan kijken naar een ander land, je zou je toch afvragen waarom ze dus Roemenië pakken, dan wel Georgië. Nou, waar denk je waar het over gaat? Why is there unrest in Georgia and Romania? Why do you think there's unrest in those two countries? Because of the Black Sea. Yeah. Who controls the Black Sea? Now it's Russia and part of Ukraine, in Odessa. But who controls the Black Sea? Yeah. So we're keeping an eye on that. We're also keeping an eye on Syria, which has been overthrown by the proxies that that have had many support from other countries such as Turkey and Israel. We know that the Turkish basically sponsored the terror group, right? Let's take a look at this article here. Here we go. Turkey-backed Syrian rebels launch attack into Kurdish-held area, which is the northeast of Syria, right? And this is May 5th, 2019. That was a while ago. Let's read a few words from this article here. Turkey-backed Syrian rebels launched an offensive into territory held by the Kurdish YPG militia north of Syria, the Syrian city of Aleppo, and on Saturday, seizing some territory before heavy shelling forced them to retreat. Ja, mensen, we zien Syrië wordt aangevallen door Turkse rebellen. En ja, heel erg triest. Nu is Assad dus gevallen. En we gaan even kijken naar wat Assad ooit gezegd heeft tegen zijn parlement. So we're going to take a look at what Assad once said to his parliament, right? And we have it right here. So Bashar al-Assad, like him or not, he was for the Palestinians. Ja, Bashar al-Assad was voor de Palestijnen. Dat was de grootste voorstander voor de Palestijnen, voor een eigen staat. En nu is deze gast omvergeworpen. En hij zegt dus dat de Holocaust eigenlijk een kaart is om te gebruiken voor interventie en oorlog en noem het allemaal op. So, Bashar al-Assad is, within the region, is the only one, or was the only one, supporting the Palestinians, wanting their own state and such. And here he is explaining to his own parliament that the 6 million Jewish people who died during the Holocaust is just a card to play on the geopolitical chess table. So we're going to take a look at this here. Yep, sound is on.
6 ملايين لا يوجد أي دليل بأنه
There is no evidence that 6 million Jews were killed in the Holocaust.
هناك 6 ملايين يهودي قتلوا. وربما حصلت محارق.
Perhaps there were a Holocaust, nobody denies this.
أحد ينفيها وهناك معسكرات اعتقال.
True, there were concentration camps.
صحيح, ولكن الدليل على
But what shows you that this is a politicized issue.
أن هذا الموضوع مسيس وليس إنساني ولا حقيقي.
And it's not a humanitarian issue and is not real.
كيف نتحدث عن 6 ملايين؟
How come we talk about these 6 millions?
لا نتحدث عن
Not
26
about
مليون
the
سوفيتي
26 millions Soviets killed in that war.
قتلوا في تلك الحرب. يعني 6 ملايين أغلى.
Are those 6 millions more precious?
الممارسات نفسها كانت على كل
The same acts were everywhere.
الاتجاهات. لم يكن هناك طرق قتل.
There was no method of torture or killing specific to the Jews.
مختصة باليهود ولا طريقة تعذيب مختصة باليهود. في كل الأماكن نفس الطريقة.
The Nazis used the same method everywhere.
استخدمتها النازية. ولكن القضية هي قضية.
However, this issue was politicized.
قضية مسيسة ولتزوير الحقيقة ولا.
In order to falsify the truth and later to prepare.
حقا للتمهيد لنقل اليهود من
For
أوروبا.
the transfer of the Jews from Europe and other areas.
باتجاه مناطق أخرى هي.
Or rather to Palestine.
فلسطين. 6 ملايين لا يوجد أي دليل.
So this is why Bashar al-Assad was seen as a hostile for Israel, right? Because he was saying that these 6 million people, what about the Russians? 26 million. They're never mentioned, you know? Ja, mensen, Assad die zegt van die 6 miljoen mensen in de Holocaust, ja, dat is gepolitiseerd en dat wordt gewoon gebruikt om andere gruwelheden uit te mogen voeren, want ooit 6 miljoen mensen, nou ja. Here we have the Syrian Prime Minister. There is Bashar al-Assad, who's a president, who was the president, and we have the prime minister, right? And he is talking to the rebels.
مع جماعة الفيلق الخامس من أهالي حوران متوجها إلى فندق فور سيزن للاجتماع وتسليم مؤسسات الدولة لأبطال جيش الأرض. مع جماعة الفيلق الخامس.
And we know who backed these rebels. It was Turkey and Israel, right? As stated here by me, Benny, I want more than the Golden Heights. Vladimir, referring to Vladimir Putin, sorry Bashar, I'm stuck in Ukraine. Trump, who gives a shit about Syria? Erdogan, I can facilitate troops. Yeah, that's how it goes. We have other images of, this is sickening, by the way. We have politicians in the Netherlands saying 24 years of Assad is gone, 24 reasons why, with all insecurity about the future of Syria. It will never be missed. Yeah. So Jan Paternotte has a weird idea of geopolitics, right? D66. So he says he used chemical weapons against Syrians. Well, I replied to him saying Paternotte is lying again about Syria. It was, according to the UN, Del Ponte, which is the guy who went to Syria. According to that guy, under the United Nations, the rebels used gas, right? Ja, dus Del Ponte is dus naar Syrië toegegaan en die heeft gezegd dat de rebellen sarengas hebben gebruikt, niet Assad. Dat heeft hij dus niet gedaan. En ja, dit is wat de VN zegt. Een laag hoger dan de regeringen. Assad is in Moscow after fleeing Syria and will be given asylum. Russian state media report. Well, from what we heard, he was downed by a plane crash, helicopter crash. So, Israeli raids, we know that Israel was shooting a lot of missiles towards Syria, more than 1,000 a year or something like that, because Iran was invited by Syria, and Israel and Iran are arch enemies. So, ja, we weten, Iran is uitgenodigd door Bashar al-Assad. Ja, Israël en Iran, die kunnen niet goed met elkaar overweg gaan. En ja, Syrië werd jarenlang bestookt door Israël met allerlei raketten. We weten bijvoorbeeld dat die Iraanse consulaat in Damascus werd geraakt, waardoor Iran retaliatie deed en zoiets. We kennen die raketten nog die naar Israël toe vliegen. Dus, ja, en dat wordt gezien als fout van Iran. Maar het is Israël die een ambassade bombardeert en daarbij ook heel veel Iraanse slachtoffers met zich meebrengt. So we know that Israel was launching rockets towards Damascus, and we know that many Iranian people died in the consulate in Damascus, and Iran retaliated towards Israel, firing rockets and stuff. We did not forget about that. So it's a hornet's nest in Syria, right? And there is supposed to be a truce between Syria and Lebanon, but Syria, or not Israel and Lebanon, sorry. And within 24 hours, Israel shot rockets towards Lebanon, yeah, it's one big hellhole. You don't want to be there, So this is all happening. Bashar al-Assad is overthrown by the proxies. Hey, where have we seen that one before, right? Where have we seen that one before? Wait a minute. Where have we seen that one before? The Houthis, in Yemen. Remember that? So our media is like, oh yay, everyone is happy, and the Syrians are free, but they're not free. This is a new phase in the war, right? This is a new phase in the war. So you have a power vacuum, and who's going to fill the power vacuum? Some Kurdish rebel or whatever, some spiritual leader, or who knows? We have the same thing going on in Afghanistan, right? The Taliban in Kabul, and we have the Houthis in Yemen. Now we have a power vacuum in Syria, and who's going to fill that? Who's going to fill that? What about Libya? Libya was overthrown, and now you have 3 parliaments. You have the international coalition, which the European countries all came together and decided, we need something of a backup plan. So we need to install a government in Tripoli, right? Then you have the Libyan faction, the Libyan people, who are subvert to the international government, right? And try to take over power, and that is not happening. And we have the exiled old general from Gaddafi's period in Benghazi, right? And you have West Libya and East Libya, basically. And in West Libya, you have 2 governments, right? One international coalition and one of the Libyan people. And mind you, no cent has gone to Libya, right? Nothing. We're spending lots and lots of money on Ukraine, right? Millions and millions are pumped through Ukraine. Trillions of dollars and euros and whatever else is pumped through Ukraine. But Libya is hung out to dry after the revolution and after Gaddafi was killed on the streets of Tripoli, right? And the gates have been opened by the terroristic horde that overthrew Gaddafi, and they went to other countries such as Chad, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. This is also the reason why you have a military coup in these countries. Chad is still democratic. They have a new president, but you don't hear much of that guy. Sudan is still in the war, right? The RSF against the SAF, and still trying to take power in Khartoum. So we have a war looming at Ethiopia because they want a port, access to the sea, and no country surrounding Ethiopia is willing to grant them access to the sea. So who knows? Somalia is supported by Egypt. So when they're backed in the corner, Ethiopia, which they almost are, right? They need access to the sea. Then, Somalia is backed by Egypt. Ja, het ging allemaal even in het Engels. Maar Libië, 3 regeringen in Libië, een internationaal erkende regering, een Libische fractie. En dan ook nog Haftar, die zit in Benghazi, oud-generaal van Gaddafi, die ook de macht wil overnemen in Tripoli, maar niet gelukt. Dus nu heb je een oostkant van Libië en een westkant. En eigenlijk is het zo'n beetje verdeeld. De oostkant is onder Haftar en de westkant met 2 regeringen. Ja, maar het heeft ook de poorten geopend om dus andere landen aan te vallen, zoals Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. Dat heeft voor veel instabiliteit gezorgd. En daarom zie je dus ook een coup door het leger. Want de civiele regering kon het gewoon niet aan. En ook in Sudan is er oorlog. De SAF tegen de RSF. Sudanese Armed Forces tegen de Rapid Special Forces. Een paramilitaire tak van het leger die tegen elkaar strijden voor macht in Khartoum. En ook Ethiopië, het zal niet lang duren, zij oorlog gaan voeren, noodgedwongen, want ze willen bereik tot de zee hebben. En Somalië gunt hen dat niet, Djibouti gunt hen dat niet, Eritrea ook niet en Kenia ook niet. Ja, dus dat is allemaal aan de hand. Dit is nog voor later, over een paar jaar waarschijnlijk. Want die president die wil ook geen oorlog voeren eigenlijk. Maar die omringende landen werken niet mee. Ja. Dus dit gebeurt allemaal, mensen. De Houthis in Jemen, die hebben controle over de Rode Zee. En ja, Nederland is de strijd aangegaan tegen de Houthis een tijdje terug, samen met Engeland en Amerika, om de Rode Zee. En dat is een moeilijke strijd. Er is hier ook een eiland, dat eigenlijk voor Jemen is ingepikt door Engeland en Amerika, om hier zo vliegtuigen en zo te lanceren in de golf van Eden. Ja. So this small island here is basically a Yemeni island and taken over by the UK and the US for flights to stop the Houthis. We're in power in Sana'a. Now, who knows what will happen in Syria? How will the power vacuum be filled? Now Assad is gone. Is he in Russia? We need to investigate this, right? According to the Russian media, he is in Russia. So, but we also have other wait, let's look it up. Assad plane crash. So we have other news. So we don't know, we're not on the ground, but according to Russian media, he is in Russia. But we have other news saying that his plane has crashed, right? Syrian President Assad's helicopter crashed, or a plane We don't know. Plane vanished near Homs. New reveal on Al-Assad, which is 6 hours ago. Ja, is die neergestort of is die niet neergestort? Dat is maar de vraag. We krijgen van de Russische media te horen dat hij in Rusland is. Wie weet. In de komende dagen krijgen we vast wel wat meer te zien en te horen over de lot van Assad. So, who knows if he's dead or not. In the coming few days, we're going to hear if he's dead or not. Who knows? But yeah, a plane has disappeared, or a flying object has disappeared near Homs. So that is also very interesting. Is it true? Is it not true? Who knows? We do know that Syria is in a new phase of the war, right? Which is the resolution part. Come together and basically form a new coalition government with a new president. Now, I know that it can be done. Ja, we weten, Assad is nou weg, ongeacht of het vliegtuigongeluk is of niet. Hij heeft geen macht meer in Syrië. En ja, nu komt het tot de resolutie, bijeenkomen of nog tegen elkaar gaan vechten. Volgens mij is het laatste. Want als we kijken naar Irak, ongeveer hetzelfde aan de hand. Machtsvacuüm. En ja, dat is uiteindelijk toch wel opgelost. Dus ja, dat zal in Syrië ook wel zich oplossen. Maar triest dat dit gebeurt. Nu is Syrië dus de gewonde dier in deze metafoor. En je hebt allemaal prooidieren die op Syrië jagen. En ja, wie weet, misschien wordt het ook gebalkaniseerd. Een stukje van Libanon, even naar het noorden. Daar hebben ze touw tussen handen. Wie weet. Nu is het geopolitieke schaakspel variabel. Er kan heel veel gaan gebeuren. So there are lots of very variable stuff, lots can happen. And who knows, maybe Lebanon will go up north, take over a part of Syria, or Turkey will take over, or Iraq, or who knows, maybe it's going to be partitioned. Who knows. So very interesting to see what's going to happen in the coming days in Syria. So we saw what happened in Georgia. We saw what happened in Romania. We saw what happened in Syria, right? Very, very sad thing to see. And yeah. We want peace, we want a peaceful transition of power. We don't want more destabilization. We're not prone to that, right? We don't want that. So we also want fair elections. We don't want a second round of elections because one candidate was voted upon and is not the candidate you want, right? So, overthrow the massive chaos in the Middle East is just beginning. Yep, we know. We're reporting on it. Let's see if Luke Rudowski has more.
Well, it looked looks like there's going to be a lot of blowout sales on Facebook Marketplace with home decor from Syria. Yeah, wow, as that allegedly is the palace of Bashar al-Assad in Damascus, who, according to the initial reports here, had his plane go down as he was evacuating Syria, allegedly. All of this is, it's pretty clear here the United States, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Israel are absolutely involved in this larger fall of Syria that's going to have a lot of ramifications behind it that are important to note here. And even though there's a lot of Western media outlets now celebrating this news, broadcasting photos in Assad in a Speedo, allegedly, we have to understand here what happened today. The fall of Syria is a major big deal, as what's happening right now should be a major cautionary tale of U.S. Western intervention and its larger consequences. All of this as today the Biden administration has announced an additional $988 million in aid to Ukraine. As a lot of people are saying, the Ukrainians, NATO, and other Western forces were directly involved here when it came to arming and training. A lot of these, quote, moderate
Syrian rebels. Now, we know. We've been watching this situation ever since the revolution happened, right? We know. Very, very sad thing to see. You know, I'm not a fan of Assad, no. But he was a stable government, right? And now the future of Syria is in the hands of the rebels. Ja, nogmaals, we zijn geen fan van Assad, maar liever Assad dan de rebellen die koppen afhakken en weet ik wat allemaal. Dus ik zei dus ook dat de Turken de rebellen gingen steunen. Nou, we hebben foto's. So the Turkish were supporting the rebels, and we have pictures. Here we have a so-called rebel with a Turkish flag. I think they're from Turkey. We also showed the article, Turkey, Syrian-backed rebels. Even the Dutch put their nose in Syria, and we were also involved in supporting 22 groups in Syria. Ja, wij waren ook erin betrokken. We moesten met onze neus erin vallen. Nederland gaf steun aan jihadisten in Syrië. Hé, wacht even, zijn we niet een oorlog tegen jihadisten aan het voeren? Maar we geven wel steun aan de jihadisten. Ik heb Rutte duidelijk horen zeggen, wij gaan ISIS aanpakken. Ja. So I heard our prime minister saying that he will attack ISIS whilst facilitating the jihadis in Syria, right? Now, how does that work? How does that work? Well, you control your own enemy. We've been explaining this for a long time, right? You control your own enemy. So that's what's happening in, say, for instance, Israel, right? So Israel wants to obtain natural gas in the Mediterranean. And what does Israel do? Well, they're going to put some Hamas fighters in Gaza, right? Which gives them a reason for intervention. We know the IDF General Yalon had said it's about Palestinian gas, not really about Hamas, nor the Israeli students who were abducted by Hamas, right, back in 2014, which also was a very political year, because back then we had the coup in Ukraine. Remember that? Victoria Nuland. So we're going to take a look at an article that we always show on RHTVLive to give a perspective, right? IDF's Gaza assault is to control Palestinian gas. It's about Palestinian gas. It's to avert Israeli energy crisis, right? That is what it's about. It's not about the students who were kidnapped by Hamas, you know. And here we have Moshe Yalon, which is the former Israeli Defense Force Chief of Staff, basically saying this year, Yalon's concerns focused on the 1.4 trillion cubic feet of natural gas discovered in 2000 off the Gaza coast. Ja? Dus je hebt je eigen vijand in de hand. Ja? Oh, we moeten Gaza aanvallen. Ja, laten we daar een paar Hamas-leden daar naartoe sturen. Zoiets. Hoge pieten binnen Hamas. Ja, en hupla, word je aangevallen. Maar het gaat eigenlijk om de gas in de Mediterraan. Ja, daar gaat het om. Dat is de onderliggende factor. Ja. En als we nou gaan kijken naar de onderliggende factor van Syrië. We weten dat Qatar en Saudi-Arabië bij elkaar kwamen om een deal te maken om een pijpleiding naar Turkije te faciliteren. Ja. So Qatar and Saudi Arabia came together for a pipeline to Turkey, but Bashar al-Assad said, nope, we're not going to do that. Nope, we're not going to do that. So this happened, and Saudi Arabia was like, nah, wait a minute. We need our pipeline deal, damn it. And Qatar was also like, wait a minute, we need our pipeline deal. So during the uprising in Syria, they facilitated proxies to fight against Assad in Damascus and surrounding areas, right? So Saudi Arabia and also Turkey, of course, which is also a player in the region, facilitated proxies to overthrow Syria for more than 14 years. About 14 years, yeah. So, and Israel gave arms to the rebels in Syria, right, to overthrow Damascus. So now we have a lot of background about Syria. A very sad thing to see that what's happening there. There's also an international community within Europe of Syrians who are very happy that Bashar al-Assad is gone. Now, I'm very happy because 50,000 Syrians can go home, which means the housing crisis in the Netherlands, yeah, it's done, maybe. We have 50,000 homes, which we provided for the Syrians living the Dutch people on the streets. Ja, ook ik ben een beetje blij. 50.000 Syriërs kunnen weer terug naar huis. En dan hebben we weer huisvesting voor de Nederlanders. Ja. Dus de Nederlander hoeft niet op straat te leven, want de Syriërs kunnen weer terug naar huis. Ja. So, there's so much happening, you know. And we're trying to explain for free, right? So, is this the end of the road? Well, we're also keeping an eye on North and South Korea. The pressure point is growing larger. It's like a zit, you know, and once it pops, yeah, and who knows when it will pop or if it will pop, right? Because the new president of the United States will be Donald Trump. And yeah, we know Donald Trump visited North Korea. But first, we're going to take a look at our former prime minister saying that he is going to try and defeat ISIS in Syria. Ja, mensen, we gaan eerst even kijken naar de oorlogscrimineel Rutte, die dan beweert van, ja, wij gaan ISIS aanpakken in Syrië.
Goedemiddag. Eind vorig jaar hebben zowel Frankrijk als de Verenigde Staten het concrete verzoek aan Nederland gedaan om een bijdrage te leveren aan de intensivering van de strijd tegen IS. We hebben deze verzoeken ook heel zorgvuldig bestudeerd. De recente terroristische aanslagen in onder meer Parijs, Istanbul en Jakarta maken duidelijk dat ISIS nog steeds een bedreiging vormt voor onze veiligheid.
Ja, maar wacht even. ISIS werd gecreëerd om Assad uit de weg te ruimen. Ja, en meneer Rutte zegt van Assad is een dictator. Nou, dan zou je toch vrij spel moeten geven aan ISIS. Dan kunnen ze Assad omverwerpen. Maar dat wordt niet gedaan. Nee, we moeten ISIS gaan bestrijden.
Voor onze manier van leven. Alleen door de veilige havens van ISIS in Irak en Syrië weg te nemen, kunnen we verdere aanslagen voorkomen. Nederland levert op dit moment al een bijdrage aan de strijd tegen ISIS in Irak.
Ja. Dan weten we nog Fallujah. Of hoe heet het daar ten noorden van Bagdad. Ja. Ja, we weten het wel, hè. Bommen gegooid terwijl we gewaarschuwd werden van doe het nog niet. Er kan burgerslachtoffers krijgen en dit en dat. Ja, maar maakt niet uit. Nee, Nederland gooit gewoon bommen op Irak. Ja. So our prime minister is like, yeah, we're going to defeat, or former prime minister is like, we're going to defeat ISIS. Whilst, wait a minute, ISIS was there to overthrow Assad, right? Weird how that works, isn't it? Ja, vreemd hoe het werkt. We gaan even kijken naar de bommen die Nederland op Irak heeft gegooid. Kijken of we daar een artikel van kunnen vinden. De strijd tegen IS. So we're going to show an article why the Netherlands is throwing bombs in Iraq and Syria, right? Because of ISIS. Oh, ISIS or IS. You know, it's stupid. We know what's happening, right? So, blah, 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 blah. Big article about why we are bombing ISIS, which was made to overthrow Assad, right? And basically it happened. Ja mensen, dit gebeurt allemaal. Helaas, helaas. We hadden het liever anders gezien. Maar ja, dat... ja. Er was ook iets van 80 mensen dood of zo. Het was het 80 mensen dood. Zo. Of 70. Oh ja, hier. Nederlandse bom doodde 70 mensen. Ja. Oh, paywall. Anyway, a Dutch bomb killed 70 people in Iraq. And that was back then. Yeah, we are allowed to do it. Wij mogen het doen. Maar even kijken of je dit hier... Zo. Wij mogen het doen, maar als Rusland het doet... Oh, Rusland is fout. Oh, wat is Rusland fout. Maar Nederland gooit bommen in Irak, in Libië en Afghanistan. Nou, niks aan de hand. Nee, dan is er niks aan de hand. Hè. Dan is er niks aan de hand. Dit is de plek waar de Nederlandse F-16-bom viel. Ja, hoe de Nederlandse aanval zo gruwelijk mis kon gaan is onduidelijk. Onduidelijk. Kijk, wat er dus gebeurde in Irak. We kunnen teruggaan in de tijd. Je had dus Saddam Hussein. Was ook een gruwelijke dictator. En ja, Amerika dacht van, daar moeten we iets tegen doen. Ja, de eerste golfoorlog gaat Irak naar Kuwait toe om daar olievelden in beslag te nemen. Want Saddam Hussein had een Mesopotamisch droom. Die zei, de olievelden van Kuwait zijn eigenlijk van Irak. En heeft dus Kuwait aangevallen. En Kuwait zocht een manier om internationale steun te krijgen. Om zich te kunnen verdedigen. En daarbij hebben we dus een verklaring van een meisje uit Kuwait. En we gaan zo kijken naar de verklaring. Dit is dus naar congres. En eigenlijk was dit de dochter van een ambassadeur van iemand binnen dat land, binnen Kuwait. Dus we gaan even kijken naar wat beelden. So we're explaining the first Gulf War, right? Saddam Hussein had a Mesopotamian dream and said the oil fields of Kuwait are ours and we're going to take it in, which they did. And we have a Kuwaiti girl, daughter of an ambassador, testifying that babies were thrown out of incubators and this and that, which never happened. Ja, dit is allemaal niet gebeurd. Dit is gewoon een PR-stunt om dus support te krijgen. om Kuwait te gaan verdedigen.
Thank you.
Sankin, thank you very much. Our final witness is also using an assumed name, and again we ask our friends in the media to respect the need for her to protect her family. And we finally call on Naira to testify.
Mr. Chairman and members of the committee, my name is Naira, and I just came out of Kuwait. My mother and I were in Kuwait on August 2nd for a peaceful summer holiday. My older sister had a baby on July 29th, and we wanted to spend some time in Kuwait with her. I only pray that none of my 10th grade classmates had a summer vacation like I did. I may have wished sometime that I could be an adult, that I could grow up quickly. What I saw happen to the children of Kuwait and to my country has changed my life forever. It has changed the life of all Kuwaitis, young and old. We are children no more. My sister, with my 5-day-old nephew, traveled across the desert to safety.
So this is the daughter of an ambassador in Kuwait, testifying some stuff that never happened. They were not fan of Saddam Hussein, so they needed a reason to, protect themselves and maybe even overthrow Saddam Hussein. That's the first chapter of the Iraq War. And before that, you had Iraq versus Iran. Iran-Contra. America facilitated weapons to Iraq and Iran, and we have the Iran-Contra to thank for that and the investigation. This never happened. Dit is nooit gebeurd, mensen. Dit is gewoon een leugen wat internationaal verspreid werd om dus Kuwait te gaan beschermen tegen Irak, die ooit een bondgenoot was van Amerika, toen ze tegen Iran aan het vechten waren. We kennen de Iran-Contra. Ja. So this never happened. It's a false testimony, and very, very sad to see that this, is a part of history, right? We need peace. We don't need war. We don't need to use children for, propaganda piece. So they pulled babies out of incubators.
There is no milk available for the baby in Kuwait. They barely escaped when their car was stuck in the desert sand, and help came from Saudi Arabia.
No, Saudi Arabia, yeah, right. They're willing to help their neighbor. Look at Yemen. This is all bullshit. It's all crap. It never happened. No. But still, it was used to so-called protect Kuwait. Yeah, because there is a lot of oil in Kuwait, which was actually basically during the First World War, it was like not even a country yet. England took over that part and said this is a new country, Kuwait, and also installed a monarchy there.
I stayed behind and wanted to do something for my country. second week after an invasion, I volunteered at the Aladan hospital with 12 other women who wanted to help as well. I was the youngest volunteer.
Bullshit. Never happened. Same as the weapons of mass destruction. Oh, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, never found. Never found. Even George Bush jokes about it. Weapons are not here. Yeah. Very, very sad to see weapons are not here. Bush. There we go. Let's see if we can find it. This is yeah. Remember this? Iraqi who threw shoes at President Bush, still angry after 15 years. Yeah, someone threw shoes at him. But George Bush had said, those weapons of mass destruction, they're not here. During a press briefing, but we cannot find it. Maybe someone watching can send me the link, right? We're all doing this together. Weapons of mass destruction. Let's see. Nope. Anyway, probably erased from Google. Very, very sad thing to see, because there were no weapons of mass destruction there. Yeah. Oh, here.
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. Maybe under here.
So very, very sad to see that a president just jokes about many, many lives lost, and on both sides, right? America and Iraq and Iran and other proxies. Very, very sad thing to see. And yeah, he's a war criminal, such as Tony Blair is, Jan Peter Balkenende, Mark Rutte, and more politicians. And yeah, we as a people need to come together and basically a peaceful transition of power, right? That is what we need. Ja, we hebben een vreedzame machtsoverdracht nodig. En ja, hoe zorg je daarvoor? Je moet een publiek hebben die weet wat er gaande is. Hier hebben we dus een president die heeft gelogen over massavernietigingswapens. Gezinnen uit elkaar gescheurd. En noem het allemaal op. We weten nog Abu Ghraib. We remember Abu Ghraib. We remember that? No? Did we forget? Did we forget? Well, we did not forget. At least I did not. Right? And yeah, we're going to show an article about Abu Ghraib, which was a prison and people were tortured there by the Americans. We're going to show an article. A very, very sad thing to see. Here we go. Abu Ghraib, torture and prisoner abuse. So we remember this, right? All these images of Iraqi people, whether they were terrorists or not, being mistreated, tortured. Yeah. So here we have Abu Ghraib, torture and prisoner abuse. Yep, that happened. We will never forget, right? But when they do it, it's okay. When Russia does it, it's bad. Russia, bad. US, good. Russia, bad. US, good. Netherlands, good. Russia, bad. Netherlands, good. Russia, bad. You know, whenever Russia does something, even fart in the air, you know, oh, Russia, they use chemical weapons, dictator Putin, you know. But when we do it, nothing is wrong there. Nothing is wrong there. We'll just blame the opposition party, right? Or, you know, the government. Yeah, Assad was using chemical weapons. No. Bullshit. Right? Bullshit. It was the Syrian rebels using chemical weapons. We already showed the article, and let's see if we can find it again. Here we have Turkey-backed Syrian rebels. I thought we showed that one, right? We hebben het niet laten zien dat de rebellen saringas hebben gebruikt in plaats van Assad. Dat hebben we toch wel laten zien, of niet? Ja, we zijn zo lang bezig. Let's see if we can find the article. We have no people working for us, right? We have the executive producer, which is a cat, you know. So, even kijken. Oh ja, hier, replies. Ja, we zijn even op Twitter aan het kijken, of X, zoals het tegenwoordig heet. En daar had ik een reactie gegeven. Zo. En als we het artikel wel hebben laten zien, dan laten we het nog een keer zien. Hè. We weten, Turkije die faciliteert dus de proxies om Assad omver te werpen. En we weten dat de rebellen gas hebben gebruikt in plaats van Assad. Dus dit gebeurt allemaal. En ja, ik wou dat het anders was. Maar Assad is weg. Ja. Nog een vliegtuigongeluk is of we weten het niet. Krijgen we wel in de loop van de tijd krijgen we dat wel te zien. Ja. Dus, so We Are Change was talking about the overthrow, which we are also talking about, right? there's so much going on, you know. There's so much going on. And we know about the torture in Iraq. We know about what happened during the first Gulf War, right? We explained that. And, weapons of mass destruction. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Saddam was not a sweet guy. We know that. But, you know, the Iraqi people must have risen up against their dictator, you know, which they did not do. They were not facilitated with weapons and this and that. And they did do that in Syria. So we know that John McCain and other neocon hawks went to Syria to sponsor the rebels. We know. So that's all happening. Let's see what else we have. House of Bad Influence, 13 people watching. Canadian live stream is also a thing to watch. Let's see what Mark Dice has to say. Let's see what's happening in the USA. There.
I think.
Oh, wait, I think we gotta go back. There we go.
And crime family above the law, granting him blanket immunity for any and everything that he had done over the last 10 years, influence peddling and money laundering in Ukraine and China, all the unspeakable acts discovered on his laptop, then people better brace themselves because old Joe is about to undermine our democracy even more. But first, this is the final weekend to order anything from my online store at markdice.com, and be sure to get it in time for Christmas using standard shipping. Tuesday is officially the cutoff day, but this is the last weekend, so be sure to order your Trump Claus sweatshirt, your MAGA Christmas, any of my awesome designs, the Cat Lives Matter, Trump Fight. Get your Christmas shopping done now. This isn't Amazon Prime, so it's not next day or 2-day shipping. A lot of these have to be printed up, packaged, and shipped out. It takes a little bit of time. So I was told by the distributor that this weekend, or really Tuesday, I guess, is the final day using standard shipping. I guess you could go a couple days after that using rush shipping, but don't be a slacker. Head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out. Here's cringe Jean-Pierre confirming the rumors that old Joe is considering preemptive pardons for a whole bunch of other people who have committed a bunch of crimes that haven't been discovered yet, so that they too can be above the law.
Are preemptive pardons on the table of President history?
I'm just not going to. I'm not going to get ahead of the president. Certainly, the president is looking at.
So President Biden's going to pardon even more criminals, right? President Biden gaat nog meer criminelen gratie geven en dit en dat. Het is echt triest. Komt weer een vluchtelingenstroom, zegt Evert. Nou, dat is nog maar de vraag, hè. Want ja, mensen gingen niet naar Syrië toe omdat Bashar al-Assad nog steeds aan de macht was in Syrië. En ja, sinds we het daarover hebben, Bashar al-Assad is weg uit Syrië. En of het een vliegtuigongeluk is, weten we niet. In de loop van de dagen krijgen we dat nog te horen, denk ik. Dus, maar hij is dus weg uit Syrië. En ja, je zou dus zeggen, Syriërs kunnen weer terug naar huis. Ja. Hoe zie jij dat, Evert? Wat is jouw standpunt daarin? Vind jij ook dat Syriërs nu het recht hebben om naar huis te gaan? Moet je je voorstellen, 50.000 Syriërs in Nederland. Dat is zo ongeveer. Allemaal huisvesting gekregen, dit en dat. Nou, dat kunnen wij ook huisvesting krijgen. Mag dat? Of moeten die Syriërs hier nog blijven? Want Syrië is nou wel vrij, hè? Dus Evert, ja, mooie bijdrage, maar hoe zie jij het? Even kijken. Vluchtelingen willen niet terug, ze hebben het te goed hier. Al was al op het nieuws. Oh, nou, ze willen niet terug. Nou, hoe kan dat nou? Leg me dat eens uit. Want je vlucht naar Nederland toe om Assad. En ja, Assad is nou weg. En dan wil je niet teruggaan. So the people in the Netherlands, the Syrian people, do not want to go home, according to Evert. Hoe zit dat dan? Want ja, Syrië is toch bevrijd van de dictator. Maar goed, we kijken hier even door. Biden die gaat nog wat meer mensen zeggen van ja, je hebt een generaal pardon.
You know, reviewing next steps, and there will be more to come. I'm just not going to get ahead of the president. I'm not going to get into hypotheticals from here.
To be clear, this wasn't just about pardons in general. Every president issues controversial pardons on their last few days in office as they're leaving. This was about preemptive pardons. So old Joe is preparing to just start pardoning his crime associates in Congress for things that they haven't been busted for yet. And as always, the Democrats are accusing Donald Trump of doing the exact thing that they themselves are guilty of. Here's Richard Madcow back in 2020 having delusions about Donald Trump issuing preemptive pardons to Donald Trump Jr. and other Trump associates, which he never did.
President Trump, as he winds down his last few weeks in office, is considering preemptive pardons for all his adult children, including his son-in-law, Jared.
You never pardoned them. Huh? You were just lying about Donald Trump and accusing him of pardoning his own next of kin, whilst when Biden does it, you're like ecstatic, you're like very happy. You know, isn't it weird?
What a mess. More as we know.
And you know what's coming next. Celebrating Joe Biden from protecting his son from the obvious crimes that he committed when none of the Trump children did anything wrong.
Cue all the hand-wringing and gnashing of teeth today about a president using his power, his pardon power, his powers as president, to do something for a family member.
Oh, well, if that's what presidents do, then Donald Trump better get his...
So when Joe Biden does it, it's okay. But when Donald Trump does it, it's wrong. Wrong. When we do it, it's okay. But when you do it, it's wrong. The same as the balance between Russia and the U.S. The U.S. attacked Afghanistan. They attacked Syria. They attacked Iraq. They attacked Yemen. They attacked Somalia. They attacked Libya. Many, many countries. But Russia, oh, Russia bad, Russia bad. Because Russia is attacking Ukraine. We know from Kamala Harris, Ukraine is a small country next to Russia. Kamala Harris, Ukraine. Ukraine is a country in Europe and it's right next to Russia.
If you're watching any level of news, even social media, you're seeing everything that's going on right now in the Ukraine. Break it down in layman's terms for people who don't understand what's going on and how can this directly affect the people of the United States.
So Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong.
So basically, that's wrong, according to Kamala Harris. right? But Russia is a big country attacking a small country. Well, over here we have Iraq. And if we expand somewhat, over here we have the United States. So Kamala Harris is basically saying, yeah, we did something wrong. We, as a big, powerful country, attacked a small country, and that is wrong. No, wait. That's not wrong. No, we overthrew a dictator. It's not wrong. That dictator had weapons of mass destruction that were never found. That's not wrong. But when Russia supports Assad, oh, that's wrong. That's wrong. No? When Russia attacks Ukraine, that's wrong. Well, we know the premise of why Russia is involved in Ukraine. We know. But it's still wrong. Yep, that's wrong. So, what's wrong? Waging war, is that wrong? Yeah, that's wrong. But who is waging wars here? The EU is expanding their territory. We also have Moldova, which is a neighboring country of Ukraine, where Parliament had said, yep, we're going to join the EU. We signed in a law that we can join the EU. So that will be the next country to be destabilized next to Georgia and Romania, right? We know what's going on. We know that Erdogan facilitated proxies to overthrow Assad many years ago, right? We know that the recent uprising was also facilitated by Turkey and Israel to overthrow Syria. As I've said before, right? Benjamin Netanyahu is like, we need more ground. We need more ground. We have the Golan Heights. We have that, but we need more ground. So, yeah, why not just take over, part of the country and clear it as a safe zone? Because the battle between Hezbollah and Israel was also facilitated by Syria. A weakened government cannot do much against Hezbollah fighters fighting in the Golan Heights, right? So that's happened. We also know that Hezbollah was attacked. Beepers gone off and balls flew in the air, and many were castrated, put it that way. And that weakened Hezbollah and many missile attacks, right? And Hezbollah was one of the facilitators of Assad. They helped him in the war against the proxies from other countries, right? We also have Iran, which also was a player in the Syrian war, and who knows what the relation will be now. Power vacuum. We saw it happening in Yemen. We saw it happening in Afghanistan. We saw it happening in Iraq, right? And now Syria has fallen. And let's hope that these people want peace. No more war. No more. Syria is a proud country, and let's hope that Syria will stay together even when there are predators, who want to take a piece of the pie. So, that's all happening. Yep. The Middle East is always war. We're also going to take a look at Haiti, of course, because there's fighting on the streets of Haiti and or Haiti, and let's take a look at what's happening over there. Haiti News Today. So we know that the interim government basically asked an African country for help, and they are facilitating help within Haiti, right? And the gangs are fighting back, and we're going to take a look at some images of Haiti. So.
The days are numbered for the gangs. It is either you surrender to the authorities, that's the Haitian government, or we are coming for you. Because we are not going to sleep. We are not going to sit. We will be out there day and night.
So this is 2 days ago, right? We're still keeping an eye on Haiti. Very, very important in this geopolitical chess game, right? And these people are very, very poor. They don't know about wealth as we know it in the so-called Free West, right? Even kijken, Evert zegt, het is moeilijk, want welke opvolger van Assad zou het nu goed doen door het volk? En daar is over nadenken. Ja, dat klopt. Ja, de Syrische bevolking kan weer terug naar huis toe gaan en weer mee participeren in de politieke affaires van Syrië. Ja, en laten we hopen dat ooit de dag komt dat ook Haiti vrij is van geweld. We willen vrede. We want peace. We don't need more violence. We don't need more stuff happening on the streets of Haiti or wherever else, right? We want peace. Peace. So, Donald Trump, if you're watching, and I know you are because I'm going to send this to you at your Twitter account, right? We want peace in Haiti. That's also good for the United States. And, that is something to draw your attention towards. Even though Syria is also a very important piece on the chessboard, right? But this is also very important because it's not far from the United States. And the US was involved in the assassination of the Haitian president in 2021. We remember. We remember. So, solve that, Mr. Trump. There's a lot on the table. A lot. If you can solve that and other crises such as the Houthis in Yemen and what's happening in the Middle East, then people will bow towards you Thank you, Donald Trump, for creating world peace. Now, if I was your advisor, which I am not, but yeah, we're still going to say it, you need to put a leash on Benjamin Netanyahu and put him towards courts, right? We know before the pandemic, he was at court, and then the pandemic struck, and the Israeli cabinet fell again, and he put himself on the election table, and basically, became president again. So we're going to look it up. We don't like Benjamin Netanyahu, but he was at court. Let's see if we can find that. This was before the pandemic, and basically nothing happened with that. So, and he is now a wanted person. So, let's see if we can find some images. Israeli. So, we're looking up some images of Netanyahu at court. There are 3 arrest warrants for Netanyahu, right? But our man, RHTVLive, basically says he's a hero. Yep, he's a hero. This is arrest warrant. We'll find it next time. Let's see if we can find something else. Something important. Global news. Now, we know that Al Jazeera is from Qatar, and we know that they have a certain perspective on the Syrian war, and even Lavrov knows that. So we're going to take...
I think publicly, either the minister of...
The foreign minister of Russia in Doha, basically talking about a range of issues such as Syria, Ukraine, and other things. We're going to take a listen to this here.
Developments that seem to be reshaping the...
Oh, and for perspective, this was when Assad was still in power, right? This is 8 hours ago, at least posted 8 hours ago.
Political map of Syria. I'd like your reaction to things that have happened in the last 10 days. Oh, sorry.
The reaction has been public, repeatedly stated. It's inadmissible to allow the terrorist group to take control of the lands in violation of agreements which exist, starting with the UN Security Council Resolution 2254, which strongly reiterated sovereignty, territorial integrity, and unity of the Syrian Arab Republic, which condemned any attempts by terrorists to disturb the life of Syrians, and which called for direct dialogue between the government and the opposition group were listed in that resolution. In 2000, if we speak about Hayat Tahrir al-Sham specifically, in 2018 and 2020, in the framework of Astana format, 2 agreements were signed, clearly solidifying the common resolve not to allow Hayat Tahrir al-Sham to rule in Idlib, to be thrown out of Idlib, and these agreements have not been implemented. Now they are grossly violated. I watched your channel this morning, and the coverage is very specific, I would say. The anchorman was saying that opposition groups were taking new towns. Opposition groups, this is the way Al Jazeera calls Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, which is, I would say, not very journalistically clean.
Well, there are more than one groups, and clearly Hayat Tahrir al-Sham are an opposition group in opposition to the government in Damascus. It seems a pretty clear description of what they do. You've been having...
You, sir, are wrong about that. We know that Turkey facilitated the proxies in Syria, and Tahrir al-Sham, or whatever their name is a Turkish proxy in Syria, right? Turkey facilitated these proxies to overthrow Bashar al-Assad. No, we know.
Having meetings.
No, one second. I understand that you defend your bosses who call the shots on Al Jazeera, but could an honest journalism would provide for a statement like Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, listed as a terrorist group by the United Nations Security Council and the United States, by the way, and opposition groups who are not listed.
And I have been reporting on this for the last couple of weeks, and we are saying that very repeatedly. But let me get back to what has been going on.
And these so-called opposition groups used sarin gas and such. The OPCW, which looks at chemical weapons, which is also vested in The Hague, the Netherlands, they went to Syria and said the rebels, used sarin gas, not Bashar al-Assad, right? And we've said it a couple of times, we're not prominently for Bashar al-Assad, we're neutral in this. Here we have Del Ponte, a UN inspector, who said there's evidence Syria rebels used sarin gas instead of Bashar al-Assad, right? But no, CNN doesn't talk about this. No, of course not. No, of course not. It's not according to the paradigm, right? Bashar al-Assad is a dictator. We need to remove Bashar al-Assad. We know that you tried to remove or attempted to overthrow 7 countries in 5 years, right? We know. And we're going to show the images of General Wesley Clark talking about overthrowing 7 countries within 5 years. But we also see that there's evidence that the Syrian rebels used sarin gas instead of Bashar al-Assad. So let's take a look at General Wesley Clark talking about overthrowing 7 countries within 5 years.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me, and one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, we've made the decision we're going to war with Iraq. This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, we're going to war with Iraq. Why? He said, I don't know. He said, I guess they don't know what else to do. So I said, well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda? He said, no. He says, there's nothing new that way. They've just made the decision to go to war with Iraq. He said, I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments. And he said, I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail. So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon.
Iraq? Yeah, okay, how's the new parliament? Syria, that's been overthrown. Lebanon, we know that Hezbollah is a major political faction, even though they're also armed to the teeth, right? It's a militant political faction within Lebanon. So you have an enemy there. As I've said before, Israel uses Hamas as a reason for intervention. So you have an enemy in Lebanon, Hezbollah.
On Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Libya, yep, that's been overthrown. We talked about that. Somalia, well, they're left alone because Somalia chose a side, right? They chose the Americans. They preferred them over the Russians, and they were left alone. Yeah. And so Sudan, as we've explained before, also in a war right now, right? So who is controlling the chessboard, the political, geopolitical chessboard, right?
Iran.
And then Iran. Yeah. So that's happening. That's happening. And it's not happening fast enough because normally you do it with brainwashing, right? And, you know. But anyway, we're going to go back to Lavrov. Here we have Lavrov discussing geopolitical things.
In terms of the diplomacy, I understand that you have had a meeting with your Turkish and Iranian colleagues here in Doha. Have you reached any agreements?
Yeah, we strongly reiterated territorial integrity, sovereignty and unity of the Syrian Arab Republic. We called for immediate end of hostile activities. We stated, all of us, that we want the resolution 2254 to be fully implemented, and for this purpose called for the dialogue between the government and legitimate opposition, as provided in that resolution. The main thing is not to say something new. The main thing is implement everything to which you sign up.
But that resolution 2254, which it was a Security Council resolution at foreign minister level, I remember, in 2015, and you were there in Russia's seat, that talks about a new constitution and free and fair elections, and yet the whole process has got bogged down and has gone absolutely nowhere.
Well, it's still a bit less time passed after the adoption of this resolution since the resolutions promising Palestinian state were adopted.
True.
So everything is relative, if you can understand. Nobody is perfect, as the old American movie says, and everything is...
You see, when there's a resolution, You have Resolution 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, and then you have 2A, 2B, 2C, and that's how it happens. So there are many agreements within one resolution. Yeah? So the Palestinians, that is the major question, because if we look at the map, right, the Palestinian state, which never came to be, they want a state. They want a state. They don't just want the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. That's nothing, right? They want a state, a viable state. And this is what Israel does not want, because they deem the Palestinians as enemies. Oh, you are my enemy. Yeah. So this is why everything is stalled within one resolution, right? So let's go back to Lavrov. We need to enlighten ourselves and have a broader perspective on what's happening. And this is what Lavrov is talking about, right? He's talking about the Palestinians, saying that they want a state within the Middle East.
Relative.
Have you spoken?
This doesn't mean that we should not keep trying.
Have you spoken to your Syrian counterpart in recent hours, or any other senior Syrian official, and how worried are they? How worried are they about the situation? They've lost a lot of territory.
Well, we are not in the business of checking who is worried and to what extent. We're in the business to try to help with diplomatic means to stop bloodshed and to make justice prevail. In this particular case, justice is Resolution 2254. The other authors of this resolution, including the United States, confirmed to us that they continue supporting this process as described in that resolution, and we hope that these promises and assurances would materialize soon.
They will never materialize, And why not? Because Israel is a client state of the Pentagon. This is how the Pentagon still survives. They need a lifeline because Israel says, oh, these Palestinians, oh, they're dangerous, they're terrorists. We need support. We need arms. Arms to come to Israel. We need to protect ourselves. Whilst with their arms, they take over pieces of the West Bank and, more territory. Very, very sad thing to see what's happening here, So, yeah. What can you say, right? We want peace. That's what we want. Israel needs to realize the Palestinians are people too. The Palestinians are people too. I don't care if you're Palestinian or Egyptian or Jordanian or Iraqi or whatever country you're from, you are a human being. You deserve to be free, right? You don't deserve a government having a monarchy which no one voted upon and stuff like that. All these weird governments, man. Iran, right? They have the Ayatollah, which is a group of spiritual leaders praying to Allah and getting messages from Allah. And then, Parliament needs to think up a law. And that's how Iran is being ruled, right? Religious extremists. This is our world, man. I don't care where you're from. You deserve to be free. No, you deserve to be free. You deserve to have a government that works in your best interest, not in the best interest of a political faction that has power over a country. You know, it's your best interest, right? But yeah, people are scared. I know people are scared. People are scared to stand up against their government because they can use violence. They can use violence. We know what happened in Bahrain, right? There was basically the Arabian Spring. Remember that? And Bahrain has a monarchy. And yeah, the people in Bahrain said enough is enough. We want a constitutional monarchy. We want some changes within Bahrain. And nope, no changes. Nope. But yeah, people tend to forget. But we remember. We remember. We have a memory. We remember. A very interesting documentary about Bahrain called Shouting in the Dark. Let's see if we can find it. Yep, we found it. And let's take a look at Bahrain and the revolution over there, right? This happened a while ago. Shouting in the dark. We know what happened over there. Let's take a look at this here.
Broke the barriers of fear, only to find themselves alone and crushed. This is their story, and Al Jazeera is their witness, the only TV journalists who remained to follow their journey of hope to the carnage that followed. This is the Arab Revolution that was abandoned by the Arabs, forsaken by the West, and forgotten by the world.
We did not forget. We were pointing at it. Hey, look at what's happening over there in Bahrain. People are being abused by their government. We did not look back. We didn't look the other way. And no, we pointed at this.
With the world's cameras trained on Cairo and Tunis, on February 16th, we discovered what felt like a secret revolution. No lights, no TV crews, just a people shouting in the dark.
شيء في داخلي يعني لازم أشارك لازم أروح أنا ما كنت أقدر أقعد في البيت وأطالع بس التلفزيون ما أقدر يعني.
Tens of thousands had come to Pearl Roundabout in the heart of the capital to call for democracy.
When I saw the crowd over there, really, it's the whole Bahrainis are here. It's the real revolution. Whoever was afraid, fear being broken on that day.
And it was all happening just 1 hour's drive from the oil fields of eastern Saudi Arabia, the fulcrum of the global economy.
طول هالسنوات احنا داخل قرانا individual كنا يعني الهوى كل واحد لوحده. هذا نقطة البداية إلينا، بداية الحرية.
They went to bed that night in the street, believing they were already free. At 3 a.m., the government moved to evict sleeping protesters.
We condone this violence, right? You deserve to be free. You deserve to be free, whether you're Bahraini or Qatari, or I don't care where you're from. You deserve to be free. You deserve to have a government that listens to you, your interest, right? The government works for you. But these people were peacefully protesting, they weren't up in arms, and the government comes and throws bombs whilst these people were sleeping. This happened whilst people were watching the soap series and whatever else they're doing, This is reality. This happened. Yeah. And this was also a prelude to a comparison of Syria, right? Two kids were killed by the special police forces in Syria, and the whole country rose up. And this gave an avenue for the proxies to go in the groups, right, in the protest, and shoot a lot of people. Yeah? This is how the Syrian civil war began. But this is a comparison, right? You have a whole population willing to sacrifice themselves peacefully, yeah? And, that did not happen. These people aren't supposed to be free according to their leaders. You have to listen to my authority, right? Calling Bashar al-Assad a dictator whilst, this was happening, and very, very sad thing to see, but we're just giving a perspective. We condone this violence. We don't want to see violence on the streets. Not necessary. But this is how government reacts. People are working class citizens, basically, sleeping on the streets, protesting against their government, and this is how they react.
From Pearl Roundabout. Police swarmed camp with shotguns and clubs. Anyone too slow or injured to run was beaten by police. At Salmania, the country's main hospital, the aftermath was on view. Hundreds of protesters were shot, tear-gassed, and beaten with rifle butts. Dr. Ali Al-Ekri was there.
It was chaos. We cannot see anything. It was dark. It was, we were in tears. Everybody is panic. Kids were just under us. I just pulled one lady, one of the with me, and another child was there. I was just going out, and he pointed to me. I told him, "Doctor, I'm doctor."
As distraught.
Is that your future? Is that your freedom? Yeah. It's very, very sad to see what's happening around the world. And this happened years ago, right? People forget. People are like, who cares? Who cares? I don't give a damn. Well, I do. Am I the only person that gives a damn about these people? No. Aren't these people supposed to be free? Aren't they allowed to have a government that listens to them, listens to their concerns? Now, I know that Canadian people are also watching. Send this to Justin Trudeau, and, you know, because I want to speak to him too. You know, what happened in Canada was beautiful to see. Canadians coming together, whether you're rich or poor, people all came together, and even, you know, they were feeding the homeless. That is something that the state is supposed to do, but they don't do that. Nope. The Canadians came together and stood up as a country. But that's lost. Yeah. It's kind of lost, fractured. You know, why should we protest? Yeah. If you look at what happened in Bahrain, yeah, that will give you a reason, you know, to avoid a protest, right? It's how the state reacts to their own citizens who are concerned about, you know, everyday things. This is how people get scared. And people won't speak out because they're going to be prosecuted by their own government. I don't care. I don't care. I am a human being. I deserve to be free. I deserve to have the freedom of the speech, right? To say whatever I want to say. And government, screw you.
Family members flooded in. Doctors and nurses broke down, overcome by the scenes of violence that shocked this small Gulf nation. For hours, the hospital's ambulances were prevented from reaching protesters who were injured and dying.
There is a ministerial order from the Minister of Health not to send anybody from the paramedics or the ambulance people in order to serve the casualties. Right. So let them lie.
Yep, let them die on the streets. They don't care. Nope. They don't care. So, Frankie says Russia has a new attack on Ukraine. Pokrovsk offensive. Yep. That's not stopping, right? We need peace. We need peace. That's what we need. So I don't care where you're from. Yeah, we need peace. There we go. Freedom, peace, and all the wars now. Freedom, peace, and all the wars now. Right? Why would you stop an ambulance whilst a citizen is dying on the streets? Huh? Very, very sad thing to see. But we reported on it ages ago, you know. And yeah. What can you say, right? What can you say? A very interesting documentary, Shouting in the Dark. We're not going to show everything, of course, but yeah, lots and lots of violence by the state of Bahrain, and this happens in these Gulf states, you know. Violence meets violence, and more violence, and more violence. Yep. We need peace, freedom, peace, and all the wars now. Right now. We can do it. We can do it. Peace in our time. It's not the world leaders that are going to do it. You know, it's us, the people on the ground. the Russians listening, the Ukrainians listening. You guys are brothers. You guys are supposed to be brothers, not fighting each other, but talking it over a bottle of vodka, right? You know, that's what you're supposed to do. Not carry a gun and kill a Ukrainian or a Russian. The same goes for Israel and you know, the Palestinians. Come together, right? Come together. We don't need any more destabilization. We need peace. That's what we need. We need someone who's willing to put their life on the line. And we saw it in the United States, right? Donald Trump for world peace. That's what we need. We need a government willing to listen to their people. And when they're not doing that, you have the right to stand up against your government. Even though we're scared, I know. But don't let them dim the light, right? Don't let them take control over you. You deserve to be free. That's what you deserve. That's what you pay for. No, that's what you paid your taxes for. You know, government's going to resolve that. No, they're not. We need to do it. We need to resolve it, whatever the issue is. Right? We need to come together and see each other as human beings, not as, you know, oh, that's a Muslim, or oh, that's a Jew, or whatever, or that's a Chinese. I don't care where you're from. You are a human being. You have red blood flowing through your body, right? You are a human being. You deserve to be free. You deserve to be treated such as a human being, not as an animal being shot at by your own government. Very, very sad thing to see what happened in Bahrain. But we remember, you know. I also like to be distracted and this and that, but yeah, we're not distracted. We're watching what's happening here. So let's take a look at this here. The liberal hive mind explaining about what Donald Trump is doing
in front of our very eyes. I mean, what a story that's being written. From Donald Trump's shock 2016 victory to the impeachment attempts, the riots, the pandemic, losing the White House in 2020, coming back in 2024, facing attacks, slander, indictments, narrowly escaping death not once but 2 times, 2 failed assassination attempts, then coming in as the underdog and beating the establishment's $1.5 billion election machine. I mean, we truly witnessed something special, but I'll tell you, it seems like the story isn't done. No, not just yet. It feels honestly like we're in the middle of it, or call it the second chapter, where the tides are turning. We've reached an inflection point is what it feels like. And these moments where the tide is turning are generally rare to witness, but the tides are certainly turning in this political story. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright, so I'll tell you, it almost feels like a freaking movie. After everything that's happened, all the attacks, all the demonization, it feels like it's all culminated to moments like these. Donald Trump arrives for the reopening at the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris.
Now imagine that, right? You still have a sitting president falling asleep at the Africa summit. You have a vice president who is not seen anywhere, still on vacation, I guess. And you have the upcoming president going to France, celebrating the rebuilding of the cathedral that had a fire some odd years ago. And that is more presidential than what the president is doing. The current president, not this president. So keep it up, Donald. Keep it up. You know, I know you're in Paris somewhere, probably on Trump 1 or whatever. Fly over there to Damascus. Fly over there to Syria, and put your foot on the table and say, whatever you guys are going to do, we're going to make a deal. We're going to make a deal here. The art of the deal.
I think probably at this point you understand what I mean when I said the tides feel like they're turning. For years, we've been bombarded with a relentless narrative from the left and their allies in the media that Trump was not only unfit to lead, but he was the embodiment of evil, a modern-day Hitler that had to be stopped.
Are you envisioning another Hitler? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
This is directly out of Hitler.
Now, why do people always mention Hitler? Oh, I know that Wall Street facilitated the Nazi Party. We know. We know. So it's not me saying it. It's Anthony Sutton who wrote a book about it, right? So, yeah. We're going to look it up. Wall Street and the financing of Hitler. Wall Street. Wall Street and the financing. Oh, you guys can't see it, right? Wait. There. New tab. There we go. Financing of Hitler. There we go. Wall Street and the rise of Hitler. Yeah, that's it. So you have investors making their own enemy as a block against the communist threat, right, which came from the East, the USSR expanding within Europe. So Americans financed the Nazis as a reflex against the communists. Yeah? They financed their own enemy. This is how you have your enemy within your reach. This is why Operation Paperclip came to be, right? Operation Paperclip, what's that? Well, that is the Nazis from Europe going to the U.S. There we go, Operation Paper. Hey, wait a minute. I think they're listening in. So Nazis, German scientists going to the U.S., working for NASA and other facilities within the Pentagon and such. You know. There we go, Operation Paperclip. was a secret United States intelligence program in which more than 1,600 German scientists, engineers, and technicians were taken from former Nazi Germany to the US for government employment after the end of World War II in Europe between 1945 and 1959. Several were confirmed to be former Nazi Party members, including the SS or the SA. So that's what happens when you have your own enemy within your own reach, right? So I think we gave a broad enough perspective for now, right, about the current situation in Syria and other places within this beautiful planet that we must preserve, and we must need peace wherever it is, whether it's Ukraine, whether it's Israel, Syria, Sudan. We won't forget Myanmar and other regions of the world, such as Haiti. And I hope you are enlightened now, and I hope we will come together as a human species and say no more. We deserve to be free. And thank you all for watching. And let's put a cherry on the top. Let's play a song, right? We need a song to relax. So let's play an good oldie. Let's see if we can find it. I'm not going to tell which it is. But it's a song that we played before. And yeah, it's a surprise for you guys. We played this one before. So here we go.
Okay. Rolling.
Hello, this is Ollie the Octopus.
Hi, here we are outside the US Embassy. I'm about to play my song. It's called They're Going to Get You. We're filming them because they film us. If you don't renew your tax disc, you'll be driving at your own risk. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They can use their Jedi mind tricks, psychometric biometrics. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. CCTV in your clamshell, turning in the grave of Orwell. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. DNA no longer your own because they've mapped out your genome. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live, them when you're on your own. Daddies, watch your daughters, let Prozac in the water. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Don't start a revolution, they'll get you with their air pollution. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. Because we think we are paranoid, their forces are still deployed. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They get your details in the dope. Now they know you. They're going to get you. Careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live, and when you're on your own. gonna go over here for the last verse.
Nice one.
Good afternoon.
By the way, if you don't know, we're from the police entertainment unit, here to make your day a little bit more exciting. We're entertaining. Have you not heard of us?
They'll look you up for them, it's not hard, so look your best on your ID card. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. They can make your life live in hell if you even mention Roswell. They're going to get you, they're going to get you. You can join in if you want. They're going to get you, they're going
To get you, they're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you. They're going to get you.
Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live when you're on your own. Be careful what you say, be careful when you're on the phone, because they know where you live, they know when you're on your own. Be careful what you say when you're on the phone, because they know where you live when you're on your own, 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 on your
You are allowed to clap.
Ollie the Octopus, thank you very much for that.
Sorry, just to explain, if I may, police, I think you probably don't know about the police entertainment department, but it's a group of us, and what we do various things to kind of cheer up the police and get them a bit more connected to us, the ununiformed. One of the, I'm actually the head of the police hugging department. Yeah, all right. And
No hugs?
you're not up for a hug?
Hugging makes the world
Sir?
a better place. Can we hug
Are you
you?
up for a hug, sir?
Can we please hug you?
No?
But it's only a nice hug.
It's just a hug.
We're
Go
all
on.
we're all
Are
beautiful
you
and
allowed
unique
to?
snowflakes of Mother Nature and all the rest of it.
Are we, Charlie? Are we? Because I was watching one of your recent videos, and you were not really talking that way about the Palestinians. So are we? Who's on the wrong side of history? We know. So it's a beautiful message that Ollie the Octopus gave. The English have a way up with words, right? It's the best of times and the worst of times, according to Charles Dickens. And he's right. Let's use in every time frame. Anyway, we're going to close off. I thank you all for watching, and we'll see each other next time.